Thinking about moving to Reno, Nevada, but wondering if you can actually afford it? In this video, I'm going to break down the housing costs, groceries, utilities, and just give you a better understanding of what it costs to live in the Reno area. And please make sure you stick around to the very end because I'm going to give you a local's insight to saving some money living in the area. If you're new to the channel, my name is David Tully, and I am your go-to resource for Reno, Sparks, and Northern Nevada real estate and neighborhood information. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around. I get people just like you reaching out to me every single day, looking to make the move to Northern Nevada and buy and sell homes in the area, and I absolutely love it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments below, and I would be happy to help. I look forward to making this move as easy as possible for you. So one of the most common questions I get asked when people are considering a move to the Reno area is, what are the housing costs? And that's a great question. The current median home value in Reno is right around $595,000. To compare it to the US nationally, I believe their median home price is in the low $400,000 range. So as you can imagine, we are significantly higher than that. But if you compare the Reno home values or home prices to some of the neighboring cities like San Jose, Sacramento, San Francisco, or even LA, we are still fairly reasonable. But that $595,000 price is certainly out of reach for many first-time home buyers and people who live in the area, so it is a bit concerning. But you can definitely find some better value in certain areas. In Sparks, I know that's not in Reno, but it's in the same county as Washoe. You can find slightly better value in the North Valleys and in the Spanish Springs area compared to a lot of other Reno neighborhoods. If you want to get an idea of what you can buy in the south part of Reno, specifically Double Diamond and Damani, you're probably going to be anywhere in the $600,000 to $750,000 range, of course, depending on the size of the home and age. If you're considering an area like Somerset, you're probably going to be anywhere in the $800,000 to $1.5 million range, depending on what you're looking for, and significantly more if you're looking for a brand new home in Somerset or a custom home in Somerset. If you're looking at areas like Arrow Creek, you're probably going to be anywhere in $1.3 million range plus, and significantly more if you're looking for a semi-custom or a custom home in the Arrow Creek area. So you're probably wondering about HOAs in the area, and I would say most HOAs in Reno are typically in the $30 to $60 range. If you have amenities, a clubhouse, or even a gate, you could probably be anywhere in the $150 to $350 range. But like I said, most homes that don't really have any amenities or a gate, probably going to be in the $30 to $60 range, with obviously some outliers that are going to be slightly cheaper and slightly more expensive. So you're probably wondering about property taxes, and this is a big one for most people. And the average property tax for Reno properties are about 0.44% of the assessed value, which is pretty low compared to the other parts of the nation. But I do want you to be aware, if you are buying a new construction home in Washoe County, meaning Reno or Sparks, you can expect to pay right around 1% of the home value when you purchase it as a good estimation. So if you buy a $500,000 home or a $600,000 home in Reno or Sparks, you can expect your property taxes are going to be right around $5,000 or $6,000 a year. And please keep in mind, you also want to make sure you're on a low cap primary residence cap, which caps your property taxes at 3% a year if it is indeed a primary residence. If it's a short-term rental or a long-term rental investment, it's going to be capped at 8%. So make sure to adjust your cap status accordingly. So I'm sure your overall monthly expenses are a concern to you. So let's go over the power prices with NV Energy. Just to give you an idea, here's what my bill was like last month. It was right around $270, but this bill is combined with power and gas. And just to give you an idea, my power bill was right around $167, and I believe my gas was right around $97. To give you an idea on the per kilowatt hour charge, Reno is right around 14 cents. Just to compare, I'm originally from Hawaii, and their average per kilowatt hour is right around 40 cents on average, and most areas in California are around 30 to 32 cents. So as you can see, our power prices are still significantly cheaper than some other very expensive areas. And my $167 bill for power is also higher than most people because I have a brand new 2,700 square foot house, and I also have 2 electric vehicles. So like I said, my power bill is going to be a bit higher in the winter than most people. And then obviously in the winter months, your gas bill is going to be higher because your furnace is going to be running. So in the summer or fall months, this bill is going to be flipped a little, as in my power bill is going to go up a bit more because my AC is going to be cranking, and I don't even keep it at that high of a temperature, or low of a temperature, I guess, in the summer months. I keep it at around 75, 76 in the summer, because obviously the lower you keep it, the higher power bill you'll have. And then of course, in these summer and fall months where I'm using more of the AC, my gas bill is gonna go down. And like I said, the electricity bill will increase. But overall, I would say it's fairly cheap for utilities in the Reno Sparks area. So you're probably wondering about internet costs in the area. I would say the most common is gonna be AT&T or Spectrum, and you can expect to spend anywhere from $40 to $100 a month, anywhere from a couple hundred megs all the way up to about a gig. You can easily spend more money if you want a 2 gig fiber line or maybe even a 5 gig fiber line, but in reality, most people really don't need more than 500 megs or even a gig to their house, so please keep that in mind. And if you decide to go higher, make sure you have a router that can support it, otherwise you're just burning money. Another thing to think about is cable in the area, but I feel like these prices aren't really location specific anymore. If you're gonna stream your TV, which most people do these days, this is not really specific to Reno or Sparks, but you can probably spend anywhere from $70 to $100 a month if you get YouTube TV, Hulu TV, or even Spectrum. So you're probably wondering about water and sewer bills. My Truckee Metal water bill is right around $30 to $35 a month in the winter. That's because we winterize our sprinkler and irrigation systems. And I would say in the fall, spring, and summer months, my irrigation bill is gonna be anywhere from $60 to $80 a month because I have grass in the back, bushes, trees, and then I also have front yard landscaping. But overall, the water bill is fairly cheap in comparison to a lot of other areas. And if you're wondering about sewer, my sewer bill a month is right around $125 per quarter, so it's just over $40 a month. If you are on city sewer, whether you're in Reno or Sparks, you are gonna have a sewer bill. It's typically gonna be a little bit cheaper for a townhouse, but all the single family homes are gonna be probably anywhere from $125 to $150 per quarter. So you're probably wondering about trash and recycling costs, and unfortunately there is quite a bit of a monopoly. The only option here is waste management, and it's also gonna depend on the size of trash can or recycling container that you get, but I have the biggest possible trash and recycling container, and I pay right around $87 a quarter, so you can do the math on that. That's slightly less than $30 a month. So you're probably wondering about grocery costs, because this is another big monthly expense for most people, obviously significantly higher if you have a lot of kids or if you eat organic, but fortunately, Reno is only about 2% higher than the national average. They say on a national average, an adult from about 18 to 50 spends about $350 a month on groceries. This, of course, is excluding dietary restrictions if you eat organic or only shop at Whole Foods, because you can probably easily double or triple that budget at Whole Foods, let's be honest. But the average American is spending around $350 a month. So you're gonna wanna shop at places like Winco, Save Mart, Walmart, Sam's Club, or even Costco in the Reno area to save some good money. But overall, the grocery cost isn't that bad in the area. If you want to buy some slightly more expensive stuff or have more organic options, you can obviously go to Sprouts, Whole Foods. Trader Joe's also has a good amount of options, but as you know, those organic options are typically going to be significantly more expensive. So you're probably wondering what it's going to cost you for a night out on the town for some food and a couple drinks. I would say the average place in Reno is going to charge you about $14 to $20 for a meal. And obviously, if you want to get something a little bit nicer and you want to venture out to the exciting Midtown area, you can probably expect to pay anywhere from $20 to $45 per meal in the Midtown area. If you want to venture off to one of the fancier restaurants like Roxy's or Johnny's, or maybe even one of the many nice steakhouses we have at the GSR, Peppermill, or Atlantis, you're probably gonna spend anywhere from $80 to $150 a person, because let's be honest, steaks are ridiculously overpriced at casinos. If you want a better steak at a much more affordable price, go to the biggest little steakhouse in Midtown. So you're probably wondering what it costs to get a beer or drink in the Reno area. And I would say that's going to range anywhere from about $6 to $14 in the Reno or Midtown area. Certain Midtown bars are certainly going to be in the maybe $12 to $20 range, but you can certainly avoid those if you like. And overall, drinking and eating in the downtown or Midtown area is going to be significantly cheaper than such as dining on the Las Vegas Strip or in the downtown area of Fremont in Las Vegas. So unfortunately, we do have higher gas prices in the Reno area. As of today, the national average for gas prices is right around $3.10 or $3.12. As of today, the average in Reno is right around $4 to $4.10 for regular gas. And premium, you're probably going to be anywhere in the $4.40 to $4.60 range. One thing to keep in mind, if you are in areas like Carson City, Dayton, or Fernley, the gas prices there are slightly cheaper, so make sure to fill up while you're there. I definitely don't recommend going out of your way to Carson City, Dayton, or Fernley, but if you're in those areas and you need to fill up, definitely get some gas there. So public transportation through RTC is fairly reasonable, right around $2 to $3 for a daily pass. You can obviously get 7 and 14-day passes. They're going to be slightly cheaper, but overall, I think you can expect right around $2 to $3 a day per pass, and you can spend, I think, about $1 to $2 more to get an entire day pass. So it really just going to depend on how much you want to use it. But like I've said before, Reno, I think, is a car-dependent city. RTC is not the most reliable, but overall the prices are fairly reasonable to get around. So this one was actually a shocker to me, is car registration cost. Me being originally from Hawaii, where car registration is actually based on weight, and where I had a Mazda 3 about 16 years ago, registration was fairly cheap. But when I moved to Las Vegas about 15 years ago, I bought a nice luxury vehicle. And when I got the invoice for the registration in Las Vegas, I cried a little because Nevada car registration costs are based on value. So if you buy a G-Wagon or a really expensive vehicle in the Reno area, don't be surprised at the high sticker price of your registration. So I'm sure you're probably wondering about property taxes, sales tax, and even income tax. And this is one of the biggest reasons why Reno and Las Vegas are high on the list for people moving to the area. And that's because we have no state income tax, which is really awesome. Like I said, me being from Hawaii, they did have that state income tax, and I definitely don't miss it. As for sales tax, we're right around 8.265%. It's not super high, it's not super low, but there's not really anything I can do about it. And if you're wondering about property taxes, you're gonna be right around 0.44% on average of the assessed value. This is just an average for an older resale home. If you're buying an extremely old home in the Reno area, those property taxes are gonna be fairly cheap. If you're buying a brand new home in the area, whether it's Reno or Sparks, you can expect to spend right around 1% of the purchase price for property taxes. So if you spend $600,000 on a house, you're gonna be right around $6,000 a year for property taxes on a new home. There's also a low cap and a high cap for a property. The cap for property taxes is 3% if the property is your primary residence. And if it's a rental or an investment property, the cap on your property taxes is 8%. So make sure you get that from the Washoe County assessors and update your cap status accordingly. So you're probably wondering about outdoor costs and even gym or fitness expenses. The first I'm gonna talk about are ski resorts. You're probably wondering what you can expect when you're gonna get a day pass or a season pass. And this is gonna be a pretty wide range, but I would say you can expect to spend anywhere from $70 to $200 for a single weekday pass at a ski resort. It's typically going to be more expensive. I would say anywhere from $150 to maybe even $220 for a Friday to weekend ski resort pass. This is all going to be fairly similar for all the resorts like Heavenly, North Star, Mount Rose, or even Sugar Bowl. The day passes can get extremely expensive, and eating at the resort or drinking at the resort is also going to be very expensive. You can probably expect to spend anywhere from $10 to $15 for some alcoholic beverages and anywhere from $10 to $20 for a meal at one of these resorts for some basic food. And if you want to save some money on some ski passes or ski resorts, definitely get a season pass if you're going to visit the resort maybe 5+ times a year if you're a local or you live fairly close. So for gyms or fitness memberships, they're overall going to be fairly cheap. I would say most gym memberships are about $10 to $25 a month. But if you want to go to South Reno Athletic Club or South Rack, which is my favorite gym membership, and which is where I was a member for over 10 years. It's going to be right around $60 a month for a 12-month commitment. And if you live within about 5 to 15 minutes of South Rack, I highly recommend it. If you're thinking about moving to the Reno area and you want to save some money, here are some cost-saving tips. The first is going to be about housing. For me, if you're looking for slightly better value, you're going to want to check out places like the North Valleys for new home options under $500,000. You can even find a brand new 2 to 3 bedroom townhouse in the Lemon Valley area right around $350,000 to $410,000. Maybe you work from home and you don't mind driving a little bit further away, but you still want to be in Northern Nevada. Then you're going to want to check out the outskirts or other areas like Fernley, Dayton, or even Silver Springs. So if you're an avid skier or snowboarder and you don't want to pay those ridiculously high day passes at most of these resorts, check out Mount Rose for some local discounts or even weekday season passes. One year, my wife and I got a season pass at Mount Rose, and I think we only had access on Tuesdays every week, but it worked out most weeks for us and it was fairly reasonable. So definitely check out those weekday passes for some better prices. So if you're thinking about buying or renting in the area, I would say some of the best deals can be had in the winter months. I would say anywhere from December to January or even February, you can get some fairly good deals because nobody likes finding a tenant for a property in the winter months, and you can get a slightly better price usually, or there might be more options available. And I would say real estate can definitely be seasonal at times, and the winter months are usually a little bit slower, because who likes moving during the holidays or when it's cold? And usually the builders in the area offer some slightly better incentives, and even the sellers sometimes offer some slightly better incentives in the winter months because there's less inventory and also usually less buyer demand. So overall, the cost of living in Reno is moderate in my opinion. It's not necessarily cheap and it's not necessarily extremely high. I'm originally from Hawaii, and that is what I would consider an extremely high cost of living. If you have a question or comment on what surprised you about these prices, please leave a comment down below. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or moving to Reno, Nevada, and you need some help, all my information will be down in the description below. I look forward to making this move as easy as possible for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.